If you want to hear and see more content like this, make sure you subscribe and follow. You're listening to the Jiu Jitsu Lou podcast, and I'm Lou Temlett. I'm guessing you're having a good day because either you've been on the mats, considering getting on the mats, or maybe you have no idea what Jiu Jitsu actually is. I'm so happy you're here listening or watching this episode. Please don't tap out before the end. When you're lacking in confidence and happiness in life, start training Jiu Jitsu. I'd like to welcome John Morgan to my podcast. Hi, John.
Hello.
How you doing?
Not too bad, thank you. How are you?
Good. Very well, thank you. Thank you for joining me. And I also want to say congratulations on the REORG Rollathon fundraiser. Rollathon being rolling and playing Jiu Jitsu and fighting Jiu Jitsu for 24 hours. How did you feel afterwards?
Tired. It was a long day, to say the least.
But you were the one there holding up the fort, bringing the energy. And I'm not sure how much energy you were drinking in terms of, cans. I saw a few, John.
No, there was a few of us. There was like 6 or 7 of us that managed to do the full 24. But just trying to keep the morale going through the early hours was difficult, but we managed it.
No, it's fantastic. I remember waking up at 4 o'clock on the morning and knowing that I couldn't quite get there the day before, but Sunday morning, 4 o'clock, and I'm like, you're still rolling. Okay, let me donate some money. And then we kind of messaged a bit and I was like, oh, I can't get back to sleep. Okay, let me pack up the kids. Let's go and play jiu-jitsu at like 7 o'clock in the morning. But it was really nice. I like going to events that suit my lifestyle at the right time of the day. Not all of us. I don't do mornings, John, but it was just such a pleasure to drop into your space and know that Newbury BJJ had the same vibe as it had a couple of weeks before for a seminar and your classes. It just is such a fantastic space. Tell me about Newbury BJJ a bit.
So I joined Newbury BJJ, was it about a year and a half before lockdown, roughly.
Yeah.
And our coach, Stephen Burney, he's been there from, well, it's his club. He started from day one, and been lucky enough to join the community that he's built there, which is fantastic. It feels like a family. So we've kept that going through the years.
It certainly does feel like that. And the hall is a judo hall. So the mats are very nicely sprung. However, when people kind of walk around or someone gets thrown near you, you're then bouncing on the mats as well, which is quite fun.
It's like being on a trampoline park.
Love it. Okay, returning to the Rollathon, John, tell me how much money you managed to raise for REORG.
So as a group, we managed to raise 10,000 or just over 10,000 for REORG, which I think our original target was around 3,000 or 4,000. But we just managed to smash it out of the park, and everyone who donated it was amazing to have that many people and that much money to help those who helped us. So it was good.
No, it's fantastic. You did such a fantastic thing and keeping up the morale and doing something really great for a fantastic charity that support so many people. Why REORG in the first place for you and your club?
So a few years back, we did a 12-hour rollathon for Macmillan, as our coach, he went through cancer and all that sort of thing. So it's been spoken about for a couple of years, like doing another sort of charity event. Who would we do it for? And then our club became what's the word for it? Like a
affiliated.
Yeah, with REORG. And then we're just like, let's just do it. Let's get it booked in. Let's do the 24 hours and just smash it out. So
good.
We managed to get a food truck in for food during the day. We had a barbecue, had a local coffee shop come down as well with their van and do some coffee. So it was a good day all around.
Fantastic. Well, I was very appreciative to be able to join and just experience the vibe of Newbury BJJ. It really was fantastic. And I'm so pleased that you were able to raise so much money as well. So
Yeah,
well done to you and well done to the whole team.
thank you.
Okay, so at the beginning of the episode, I kind of introduced the episode with maybe you've got no idea what jiu-jitsu is. Um, Actually, I don't think I've ever asked this because sometimes, uh, okay, I'm going to be brave and go, what is jiu-jitsu, John?
It's a
Let's
grappling
have a
martial
debate.
art. Grappling martial art, safe space, place to learn self-defense, get on the floor and roll around with another human being and pretend you're kids again in some ways.
Yeah, I like the fact that you said that because that's exactly how I felt when I first started training jiu-jitsu. It just felt like, I don't know, it kind of felt like a safe play park because
Yeah,
I wasn't, you start jiu-jitsu and you don't take it that seriously because you don't know what you're capable of.
mm,
So you kind of, if you're a kind of happy-go-lucky, enthusiastic individual, you approach it with a sense of, well, what might happen? Let's have a go.
yeah,
Um, which some of us might regret
yeah,
because some of us end up with injuries. I remember not being able to sit down properly for a couple of weeks because I'd not learnt how to pull guard properly and ended up on my backside in quite a painful kind of situation. But what did you expect from jiu-jitsu when you started?
Oh, so when I started, I was roughly around 120 kg in weight. So I wasn't really sure what to expect. My experience from jiu-jitsu at that point was seeing both my brothers do an ultra MMA event for charity.
Yeah.
So I saw them do a couple of like little classes because one of my brothers had trained for probably like 4 months at that point. So he knew a couple of things and was showing them little bits and bobs. And it just caught my eye. Never done a martial art, never done striking,
Yeah.
never in my life like hurting people. Like even if I'd tripped someone up in school, I'd hate myself. So it just came across quite an interesting thing. Like it looked almost like primitive in a way, like going back to just like almost like hunter gatherers, I guess.
Yeah.
So it took my eye, and until someone, a good friend of mine, Sam, he said to me at the event, he was like, "Oh, come give it a go. Just come down like next class." And I was like, "All right, I'll give it a go." Went down, and I just never looked back. Just fell in love with it. I did almost pass out because I couldn't make it past the warm up. But
Okay.
but no, it's amazing.
Yeah. Well done for sticking with it. How did you feel to be invited to go and, take part in martial arts for the very first time, having known absolutely nothing, or maybe a little bit?
Um, it felt very welcoming. It was strange because like you think of like martial arts or like boxing and stuff like that, and you think it's quite like a alpha male sort of vibe, and it's like strong and like doesn't come across like a welcoming thing.
Yeah.
But with jiu-jitsu, for some reason, it was just so inviting. Like, just come along. Like, it's good
Yeah.
fun, and yeah, it's just really nice vibe.
Good. I would agree. It's a very nice vibe. But when I started, I'm going to reflect a bit. I didn't think it was a kind of rough and tough. So I whilst my mother watched Jackie Chan movies back to back for a lot of her life, kind of on and off, and there's lots of martial arts movies. I wasn't interested.
No.
But what I was interested in was watching wrestling back in the WWE days, and I just found it absolutely hilarious. So I didn't see any of the kind of aggression or the kind of alpha male thing coming from it at all. As a female in that space, and so I equally felt very welcomed, and was so pleased that it wasn't deadly serious.
Yeah.
And I know everyone's experience is very different, but I think feeling welcomed is the number one goal for any club around the world, to make people feel.
Yeah, definitely.
How you started at 120 kilos.
Yep.
My starting weight wasn't far off that as well, John, with jiu-jitsu. But how has your weight loss kind of progressed over the years? How has your mental health kind of aligned with that? So my experience, and others I've spoken with, being overweight comes with a kind of detrimental, often mental health state that either we're able to kind of see and understand or not. And effective health and mental well-being comes in a parallel with growing and developing and making stronger and more kind of strength, and being slimmer is equal to our mental health growth. But when it's misaligned, then that becomes an even bigger problem, which I think a lot of people don't realize. But tell me about your journey.
So starting jiu-jitsu for the first, like, I would say, well, I progressed pretty quick through my white belt, just because I got addicted to it and I was just training as much as I could. So by the time I hit blue belt, that was about 1 year and 3 months, roughly. I lost roughly about 40 kg.
Wow.
So I got down to roughly about 79 kg,
Nice.
which is amazing. Like, once you pick up 40 kg, after that, you think, no wonder I was so tired all the time. Like, no wonder, like, my mind was so tired and like I was always depressed. It's just so much weight to carry around on your body. So that in itself was a big weight off my shoulders, I'd say.
Literally.
100%.
In a kindly, supportive way. I think those individuals walking around with kind of a slimmer frame don't understand the emotional and physical weight those of us that are overweight carry for lots of different reasons, and it's almost a lack of understanding and a lack of knowledge to what that feels like. But from people that are overweight, it's kind of that gratitude feeling that nobody else has to go through that. And of course there are other people going through it, but that there's a heartfelt sense for everyone in that picture. Was it just jiu-jitsu that you were doing at the time for that weight loss?
So right off the bat, because I couldn't do the warm-ups, where then we went into the techniques, which I absolutely loved doing, I started cycling a little bit at work. So I had a friend, I run a little business, and one of my friends a couple doors down, he would come with me, like at lunchtime, we'd go for a cycle on the common, just to get a bit of exercise, try and get my cardio going a little bit, just so then I could actually do jiu-jitsu, not just like almost die in the warm-up. So apart from that, it was literally just jiu-jitsu as much as possible, and then cycling at lunchtime. So that's what got me down the weight.
Good. And did you notice your eating patterns and habits changing over that time as well?
I've always had a bad eating habit. Like, my diet is horrendous, until recently. So it was just trying to stay active, like constantly trying to train or constantly do something active, to that way. I've always found if I'm working out, I don't feel so hungry afterwards. Or if I'm doing something, I can't eat. So it was like just trying to stay active as much as possible.
Oh, that's interesting. That I'm kind of observing as an interesting tactic. So it's kind of that using that physical element in life to avoid food, whereas some people kind of use different other avoidance tactics. But I think some of us, I would admit this, kind of immersing myself in work, that's an avoidance tactic for other things as well. But it's good that you kind of notice that that's your avoidance tactic. So do you have any measure now for when you kind of overcook your exercise and your physical routine?
So through the belts, I found myself starting to gain weight again, just because I was using a lot less effort.
Yeah.
Because I started learning more. I didn't need to put so much effort into like use strength or anything because the technique was working for me. So I started to gain again, until recently I went through some stuff. This fast forwarding a little bit, but I had to do some drastic changes. Otherwise, I just didn't feel like I was going to do the right thing to myself. So I had to make some drastic changes and cut out a lot of things just to get myself back on the right tracks. So I cut out a lot of bad foods, cut probably eating about 1,000 calories a day at most, and just trying to train and just trying to get back into a positive mindset, which I managed to do, and now in a good headspace again.
Good. I'm really pleased to hear that. I've spoken with a number of people on the podcast and kind of where they're struggling with their mental health and thoughts that, you know, of kind of harming or, you know, wanting to end their life. And I think that's quite a thing to talk about and admit, and then have that awareness and then make changes in your life that then support your own well-being going forwards. Because most of us go through life not having the awareness of the thing that's causing us the most harm. So I think I just want to kind of go, I'm really pleased for you that you have that awareness, and just go, you know, you're doing fantastically well. And I don't want to diminish the hard times, but you're here, you're fighting for everything within the kind of jiu-jitsu, your jiu-jitsu journey. But I do just want to touch on the fact that you said as you go through the belts, it gets easier and you to do the moves because you're not using as much strength. At what point did you notice you didn't have to use so much strength to pull off these moves because you were just so good at them?
So I'll rephrase that a little bit, because obviously when you go to different clubs training with new people or like people the same level as you, it can, obviously you're still gonna get smashed, potentially.
Yes, okay.
So I'll rephrase that a little bit, but no, when you get comfortable in the same sort of group of people, or like you're one of the higher belts of a club, it's sometimes it's difficult to get that workout that you had at the beginning almost. So it was either start training, like my coach has always been very good at saying, like, John, go out, get some more rounds, like go here, go there, etc. But I got into a slump and it was almost like coasting at a point. And I think that was sort of like around sort of purple belt I started doing that. Life things got in the way, new relationship, and just sort of coasted a little bit and just didn't feel like I needed to put the effort in.
Nice. Again, I want to go hats off to you, John, because having that awareness that you were coasting in that period of your life, do you think that was just your intuition and knowledge, or did you have anyone reflecting things back to you? Obviously, your coach was saying, go and get some hard rounds in. But was there anything else that kind of gave you some of that knowledge, or is it all from within?
I think it's just from within. Just I noticed like I was coasting. I didn't need to do anything. There was like I had other things going on in my life where I was just like, I'm putting my time and effort into this rather than my training. So like the training was on a back burner. I was still teaching. I was still there, but just wasn't there as often. Like people used to take the mix saying like, John might as well sleep at the club. Like he's there all the time. And then it comes to like last year, and I was just like non-existent almost. Just training, like I was doing my classes because I was always committed to that. But then other than that, you probably see me here and there, but never fully there.
Did you have any feedback from your teammates that you got to know so well and kind of checking in on you as to why you weren't there?
Everyone sort of knew why I wasn't. Just like everyone goes through stages, life experiences, or like people start having children or people getting married and stuff like this. And the thing with training is it's always going to be there. So, if you step away, you can always go back. So I just, for so long, I put so much into training, like training 11 times a week or just going to different clubs all the time. I felt I was lacking. I put too much into it. So my life was just jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And I kept getting comments of like, "Oh, John, you need to do more, like give people time and stuff like this." So I kind of tried to balance my life out a little bit. And
nice. So all of the training, the kind of taking a step back, coming back into it. What's your frequency now? Because 11 times a week sounds extraordinary.
So I was doing that just after lockdown. So I got my blue belt the session before we all went into lockdown.
Wow.
So it wasn't the best time.
Yeah.
But luckily I lived with my brother, so we were training through the whole of lockdown because we had the mats, so we continued to train. Didn't really post much because obviously people would get jealous, or not jealous, but it would annoy some people because they couldn't train and they wanted to. So we just kept it to like drilling techniques, not much sparring, just positional sparring.
Yeah.
Coming out of lockdown, some things happened in my life which didn't expect, and it took a big turn. So it was either I go the wrong way and get into some bad habits, or I train extra hard and smash training and just focus on something good. So that's where I turned to jiu-jitsu and started training 11 times a week, just to try and smash myself to the point where my mind was so exhausted I couldn't think about the things that were going wrong.
Yeah. Do you think that was a healthy route for you at the time, or could
100%.
there have... Okay, good.
It was either that or something completely different, which
I get that. That's fine.
So
it's good. Again, having that awareness, which I think is fantastic, knowing that that's a thing, knowing that training so much actually keeps your mental health as positive as it can be in challenging times. But what's training looking like now, John? Now you're a brown belt.
Been a brown belt for over a year now. Recently we did the Scramble camp in Malaga. I think it was last month, and that's probably been one of the best experiences of jiu-jitsu I ever had, because there was me and 5 of my friends. We all got a villa together, had a house, we had a pool. We all just train in the morning, go back, shower, chill out, go train in the evening, and then hang out, go for food. It was just the best experience ever. And ever since then, it's just been riding that high, and it's like I've got a drive again for training. So I've been training all over again.
Good. Fantastic.
So just smashing it.
This episode is sponsored by Newbury BJJ. Newbury BJJ run daily classes taught in a friendly and respectful environment. Their amazing sprung floor dojo at Newbury Judo Club is perfect for all aspects of grappling. It's kind of fun too, especially if you're used to regular matted gyms. There is free parking, toilets and changing rooms for both men and women, a kitchen for refreshments and seating for spectators. When you want to discover, practice, develop, create and share space with a friendly team and great instructors, head over to newburybjj.co.uk and go and follow at newburybjj over on Instagram.
This is the Jiu-Jitsu Lou podcast with me, Lou Temlett, coming to you from the UK. Keep checking out all the clips as soon as they drop, as soon as I've recorded an episode, usually way before the episode officially is released, over on YouTube, Instagram, and on TikTok. So please go and follow. Today, I'm having a conversation with John Morgan. So the Malaga Scramble Camp what was so special apart from the lifestyle, the sunshine, the training jiu-jitsu, and being around friends? What other highlights? I mean, that's enough, really, to be fair.
Yeah. So I'm lucky enough. The club that I train at, Newbury BJJ, is an affiliate of Perestra. So we've got quite a few clubs down south, and there was quite a few of the clubs coming to Malaga. So like our head black belt in the UK, Jeff Lawson, he was there. We had like Matt and Mr. Dan there as well. So it was just a good vibe. There's a big group of us. And the training room, from all the people that turned up, we had roughly about 110 people on the mats.
Wow.
It was just a good vibe all round, good level of jiu-jitsu, getting the rolls in, training.
Yeah.
And it was just, there was nothing going wrong. It was just like perfect. No one wanted to leave. Everyone was depressed coming back because of it was being cold.
Oh.
So
If when do you recommend that any of us practitioners, competitors, get involved with some of these camps? Because we see them advertised all the time, and sometimes some of us as kind of white belts or blue belts feel slightly anxious maybe about joining these camps for the first time. But how would you sell or advertise some of these camps to us to make us want to go along? What can we get from this?
the atmosphere, for one,
Yep.
being around so many different people, being able to network, making friends very easily. Like, I think jiu-jitsu is a great place to meet new people, network, and just make friends, really. It's such an easy place. Like, you build bonds with people quite easily just from around. Technique wise, like, this is the first camp I've been to, but I would say it does cater to everyone. Like, you can turn up as a white belt and still come away with something.
Good.
Never expect to remember all the techniques because it's impossible. And I always say to white belts, like, in a first class or the first few months, don't try and remember every technique your coach shows you in that class because it's not going to be possible. Just stick with one, focus on that, and then just progress as it goes. And it's the same for a camp. The things that stand out to you, stick with that, and you'll be all right.
Good. I think part of it is having the awareness that something is quite intriguing, because we can be immersed in lots of things. And I remember as a white belt going, "Oh, I feel like I'm in a sweet shop and I want to taste everything and do everything."
Yeah.
But I think it's really mindful. And often, actually, I hear from brown belts, focus on one thing, just concentrate on one thing. But it's so enticing. How can we balance our mindset to calm the energy if we're kind of relatively new in the journey?
Save it for later. Make a note of it. Make a note for future reference to go back to it.
Okay.
I think as well with, what was I going to say? For white belts or like blue, focusing on that one thing.
Yeah.
Some of the techniques, that was it. Sorry. Some of the techniques, what doesn't feel like it will work for you now, will work for you later. Like, sometimes it feels like it's not working for you. Then all of a sudden, 2 years time, you're doing that technique and you're like, oh, I remember that. I learned that this long ago. But it might be just because your body movement at the time isn't correct. You haven't learned some of the fundamental movements. So it will come back to you.
Good. I'm sure I was taught lots of different things in my kind of early career in jiu-jitsu. But it's the things that you learn closest to the moment that you're in that make a difference. I've just come back with a gold medal from an interclub with 2 wins. Thank you. It's only taken 3 years to get a win, which is fine. I'm the more time goes on, the more I'm appreciating what I've achieved, because some of us can diminish our wins and go, oh, well, I kind of just did that. But I kind of shifted my mindset maybe only a few days before the competition, because we're so used to playing on the bottom. and we
Yeah.
see people on their bottoms and butt scooting or whatever, you know, the brown belts or purple belts do, even if they turn up or don't turn up for warm-ups, if that's a thing in your club. It is playing on the ground and being on the bottom. But after having a conversation with my coach, I'm like, oh, I can play on the top. So that's a thing. It's like, yes, stay on top. So that was my stay on top, have a plan, execute the plan. And I was fine. And it just changed my whole thing. So it felt like in that moment, and this is not the case, that the last 3 years of my learning experience counted for absolutely nothing because I was squashed as a pancake for 3 years. What has been the biggest learning point for you that has shifted your technique, your achievement in jiu-jitsu for you personally?
Biggest, do you say biggest moment, like where it switches? And
Yeah,
it's just like, oh,
whether it's a moment or whether it's an intuitive thing, what's coming up for you when I say, you know, the kind of biggest
think-
achievement, the shift?
early on, I realized because of my size, pressure would come naturally to me. So like being on top, smothering people would come naturally to me. So early on, I realized I need to do the hard stuff, like inverting, being upside down, stuff like that. The stuff that the small people do, because it will be more difficult. It will take longer to learn, but switching over to the top pressure will be quick and easy, a lot easier anyway.
Nice. I like the fact that you said that. And obviously from my perspective, you know, I started around a kind of similar heavy weight and I missed that obvious bit. Staying on top and pressure. It's like, hello, where was I? I've missed the obvious. I clearly don't have quite as much awareness as you do.
I like to think that I'm a bit of an overthinker. So I'm someone who I can watch something and tend to do it afterwards. I'm a visual learner, so seeing the inversion stuff was like fun and exciting, but I also realized like I am heavier, so if I'm going to stay this way or drop a little bit, applying that pressure should come quite natural to me. So doing the things, being on my back, being upside down, I just thought was going to be a lot more difficult, so it makes sense to do that first.
Okay, I need to ask this because it's coming up. When you have a gorgeous plate of food, do you eat the things that are really boring or do you go with the exciting things first?
Depends on the meal. So so if it's like a roast dinner, I have to do proportions. So like chicken with a bit of the boring stuff. So it's like I can take out the boring stuff with a bit of sweet. If it's like a burger and chips, I'll get rid of the chips first because they'll get cold quicker. And then save the burger to after.
Okay, nice. I was just trying to relate your kind of tactics and philosophy for I can do this easy stuff. Let me tackle the hard stuff because that's not natural for so many of us. But it sounds like I'm relating you're kind of dissecting a meal and negotiating that with the doing a little bit of hard stuff, doing a little bit of the stuff you really like, smishing them together and. There we go. We've finished a meal and you've submitted someone. Okay, let's talk about your competition experience and some of the positives as well as maybe some of the not so positive experience. But drop in a few submissions there as well, please.
So competition wise, I used to compete quite a lot back at sort of like blue belt and into purple. I usually have them all hung up here, but I took them all down because I don't like to like show them all like this is my little man cave. So I didn't want it in the background being like, oh, he does loads of competitions or whatever. But I used to compete quite a bit. Died off just because I just enjoyed the teaching side of things and seeing other people succeed, and just wanted to push people to do better.
Nice.
I always found competitions nerve-wracking. I don't like busy places, loads of noise. That's why I tend to find I perform better going to an open mat at a new gym or just in my own. When there's loads of noise, loads of people shouting, it's not for me. I tend to
Yeah.
go to sleep in the corner rather than getting on the mats and warm up.
Yeah. I sense the kind of slight avoidance, the boring thing on the plate, and you're kind of smishing it with, you know, the good stuff.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us really struggle with the noisy environments of
Yeah.
big competitions and the noisy big invitationals. I was very kind of grateful to experience an interclub that was a much different vibe. It was chilled. I was able to approach it like you would an open mat. And I think it really aids our ability to focus and to best serve ourselves in that experience. I don't know how I'm now going to, you know, translate that because the weekend this goes out, it's the British Open no-gi. I haven't competed no-gi before, but today's the day.
You signed up?
Yes, I'm in. I'm in.
What I mean to say is congratulations on the gold.
Yes. Okay, we've sent it out to the universe now. It's happening.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your medals and what you've achieved, John.
So I've achieved a couple gold medals, just a couple, mostly silver. I always find the battle for bronze and silver is where I put all my effort in. Because I do not want that bronze medal. Like,
yeah,
without a doubt, I will do anything not to get that bronze medal. But then once I've secured a silver, the energy sort of dies, and I'm just like, okay. I'm all right.
Is that so I'm just going to relate it to the interclub. There was an opportunity that I might have 3 matches, and I'm like, I'm not having 3. I'm just going to sub it and finish it at 2. So that was my driver. What is your? Are you dealing with lots of matches when you compete?
Back then, not so much. There was a couple where there was like 6 or 7 matches at a time to get the gold. But most of them were like 4 matches max.
Okay. You guys have it so difficult. I know, you know, there's lots of challenges for men and women competing. But when I hear that you guys, I just want to take my hats off to you because I think you do an absolutely fantastic job, and you don't appreciate what you guys have to go through that us girls at the moment don't. So in a bracket, we might have 2 or 3 matches and we go, oh my gosh, that's such a lot. And then I hear some of you guys are having like 20 matches for the same bracket, and I'm going, that's insane. How do you maintain your energy for, you know, keeping going throughout that? I know you kind of have to because it's what you know, but seriously, that's a lot to ask.
Yeah. I've had, so when it comes to competitions, I tend to push myself, like do a camp, but I always, for some reason, I'd never listen to my coach and take it easy the couple of days leading up. And I always end up getting injured. And one competition, I blew my knee out like 3 days before the competition. So that wasn't too good. He wasn't too pleased with that either. But I managed to get silver. I just put like some painkillers, some KT tape, knee support. Once the adrenaline kicks in, it's not too bad. But long term, probably done some damage. But I think with saving the energy, I think some people tend to try and play the rule set. So if you can get the points for takedowns or secure 4 or 5 points, and then almost ride it out just to save the energy for the next fight. I've never been the one for that. I've always wanted to get the sub. But my first experience in competitions, it was at ultra heavyweight, and I had, at the time, I had just learned that you couldn't wear rash guards, and I just had a man smother me with his nipple in my face for pretty much like 4 minutes. So that was my experience in jiu-jitsu competitions for the first time.
Nice.
Yeah. Unique.
I haven't got anything to say about that. I'm just pleased it wasn't me.
Yeah. I managed to win in the bronze though. I beat him in the not in the bronze, in the no-gi afterwards. So
Good.
Got the
And of
bit
course, you
redemption
had to
there.
wear a rash guard in the no-gi.
Yeah, exactly.
My
So I
mind
was
was
all
like
right.
catching up.
So I redeemed myself there, but no, it's a difficult thing. I think just pushing yourself in training and just keep going through like Shark Tanks, or just constantly going through these hard rounds of pushing people just with fresh energy, just to get that heart rate going.
Yeah, nice. I just want to drop back to the 24-hour rollathon. It felt like you had fresh energy for every single hour, John.
Mm.
Was that the case?
I think the adrenaline and the emotions I had going into it kept me going, because I absolutely just broke down at the end. But just trying to keep the morale going, keep everyone up and ready. We got some Spanish music on. I think you were there for that.
Yeah, I did miss the salsa and the kind of bachata dancing. Next time.
Some people did say my dancing got better as the night went on, but some
good.
people said it didn't. So
they might have been very tired, or they might not have been tired.
No, they might have just been done with my dancing and just wanted to get me to stop. But no, I'm not sure exactly how I did it. But I just wanted to be that person to keep the emotions going, just keep everyone alive and just happy.
Well, you did a fantastic job. Now, we briefly mentioned submissions. The word was mentioned a couple of times. I'm still conscious to hear some subs, please, John.
Submissions in competition.
Yeah. What are your favourites? What works for you?
So one of the first submissions I hit was at white belt, and so our head black belt Yuki Nakai taught us a escape from omoplata, where instead of rolling, you come underneath them. So you reach for the far knee, you drop under, and you take their weight over the top.
Yeah.
So this is something that I haven't seen many people do, and so I think he went for like a collar and sleeve. I came to the floor. His coach was shouting omoplata, and I was just like, yes, please go to it, because I know exactly what I'm going to do. So I hit the technique, but the finish wasn't exactly how I expected. But I shot my legs up, and there was an inverted triangle there, so I just squeezed on that and managed to hit it. So I was just like, I was happy with that.
Nice.
Apart from that, probably a footlock, couple of footlocks. One of my favourites is an assassin's choke. Well, I call it assassin's. It's got a couple of different names. You get to the back, you take your lapel out, you pass your underhook hand, you hold the far lapel, so you've almost got a seat belt without one of your arms. So you can take your choking hand out, reach round to your back, pull your lapel out, and you feed it over underneath the neck, and then you pass it over, and then you use the blade of your arm on the back of the neck to finish. Nice. So it's a nice deep choke.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Pretty pretty good. You mentioned hearing your opponent's coach shouting omoplata. How that was my first experience in the interclub, because it was so quiet. I could hear my opponent's coach kind of giving her instruction. And of course, if you can hear both coaches, both opponents know what each other is expecting. But how influential is you listening partly to your opponent's coach during a match?
I think it's quite important in some ways, but then you have to be aware that your opponent isn't necessarily going to listen to their coach, or they might have a better idea of what they think will work for them. Because everyone's game is completely different. So your coach's game might be slightly different to what you tend to go for in some circumstances. So it's good to be aware of it, but I think higher belts, not so much. You want to just be focused on, because usually most fights you're sort of feeling each other out, sort of gauging what sort of reactions you get from, like, if I grip his lapel, what's he going to do? Or if I catch an ankle, what's his reaction? Is he going to take a step back? And so you sort of feel out your opponent. So I think early stages, it could be very beneficial. But as the belts go up, I think not at all.
Nice. Okay, well, I'll keep listening to both. And I found it very helpful to actually talk to my coach before the matches and have my plan so that they knew my plan. I knew my plan, and it was effective. And I got lots of compliments to say that I was able to listen to my coach. It's like, yeah, but it also matched my plan. So it was congruent from the listening and doing. It felt like it was the plan. And I guess it sounds like when your coach is saying something that is not your plan, talk to your coach, everyone, and maybe listen to them, John, before training and before the match, and not blow your knee.
Yeah.
Talk to me. Sorry. Talk to me about your coaching and why you love it so much, John.
I've always been someone who loves to help people. So seeing something work for someone, or like teaching a technique and then it working for them, it's better than a medal. And then seeing them being able to use it in a role at a club or at open mat or at a competition, it just is such a good feeling. To know like you've helped them secure something that they really want. So I can't explain how nice it is unless you coach, you understand what I'm talking about. It's better than any other feeling when it comes to training, I think.
I would echo that, being a parent, that when often
100%,
the kids don't listen to you and you go, just listen to me. Anyway, they have their own ideas, but when you're not telling them what to do and they just operate in a way that you've kind of instructed for days, weeks, months, years, if not longer, that there is that pride and accomplishment in not just their ability, but in your own ability to have coached, taught, supported, whatever it happens to be, parented, in fact, is kind of a big thing. Do you have anything else you'd like to talk about before we wrap up this episode? I'm sure there's lots on the list, and we can always have a reshoot, because I know I have a return invitation to your podcast. So let's talk about your podcast quickly.
So we started a little podcast. Was it probably October last year? So me and my friend Mason, we started a little podcast called Jiu-Jitsu, because we are complete idiots and we love training jiu-jitsu. So it's just taking that chatter from jiu-jitsu and put it into a format where people can listen. Nice. So we started that after a time when things were quite bad for me, not in a good headspace, and I was just like, I need to do something again. Jiu-jitsu, something else. So we started that, had some deep conversations, had some guests on, and our other friend Sam started doing some of the audio for us, and then he jumped in on it as well. So now all three of us are doing it together. It's good fun.
It is good fun, and anyone that is thinking about starting a jiu-jitsu podcast, just get on and do it, because it is so much fun.
Don't wait around. Just do it.
Yeah, exactly. From two fellow podcasters, I'm over how many? Months, 27 months in. I feel like, being a parent, I'm like, oh yeah, it's not 2 years, it's 24 months, or it's 27 months. But no, just over 2 years. And I was so scared to start. And I do feel slightly embarrassed at the lack of knowledge, but none of us would be here unless we'd started and continued showing up week in, week out, just doing, because you do have to do other preparation. It's not just about showing up, as I've learned from my coach and previous other podcasts. You still have to do a lot of preparation, a lot of development, making things better, because things don't just organically get better by doing nothing. So whether it's improving lighting, improving the audio quality with your friend Sam, changing up the branding, or doing more jiu-jitsu podcasts, learning from different people. And I chat with a lot of journalists now, and that's my tactic to kind of get my storytelling kind of flowing a bit more. So it's all good. It's all good.
And I would highly recommend people listening to Get out there, train with new people as well, because I've been lucky enough to be able to train in a few countries, and it's just one of the best experiences ever. So I'd highly recommend it.
Yes, have gi, will travel. Have no gi, will travel even more, because you don't have to pay so much on the luggage fees.
Exactly.
And there's less washing. You can do it easily.
Yeah, 100%.
What do you hope to achieve in the upcoming time for you in your jiu-jitsu journey? Whether that's podcasts, whether that's, coaching more, traveling more, what do you envisage for 2026?
Continuing to train. That would be a great start. What would I like to see in 2026? Continue to improve myself and better the people around me, I think.
Nice.
And just continue to do what I'm currently doing, because if I could turn it into a lifestyle, like be able to live off doing jiu-jitsu, I 100% would. But it's quite difficult. There's not a huge amount of money in jiu-jitsu, unfortunately. So I might start an OnlyFans of jiu-jitsu.
Okay, I'm so pleased.
Joking.
This is at the end of the episode, so no one's listening anyway, John. You can say what you want. This is the bit that's the clip that's going to go viral and actually earn us some money on YouTube.
There we go.
I'm not committing to anything. I'm saying not even the words.
I would like 2%, please.
My mouth is sealed. I'm saying nothing. Right, John, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for taking time to chat. It's been fantastic, and I wish you all the success and more charity events and just all the things that make you feel complete and whole for your own well-being, physical, mental, all of the stuff, because you're doing amazing things, and sometimes people that do amazing things like you don't realize quite the positive impact you have on other people. So I'm just putting that out there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Right, that's it. How can people follow your journey? And check out any new accounts you might be opening?
So, personal account, John A. Morgan on Instagram. That's pretty much the only place you'll find me. I don't really use my Facebook. And then for our podcast, find us on Jiu-Idiots on Instagram and on YouTube.
Fantastic. We'll all go and do that. I'll put the links in the show notes, John, and look forward to chatting with you again very soon.
It was a pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much for getting this far. I hope you haven't really listened this far and made any notes, because, we've not said anything controversial yet. I'm always looking for new stories, connections, and growth in the sport of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. So if you know anyone that would like to come on the show or has a great story or just wants to come on, and chit chat, contact me or contact John for Jiu-Idiots things. It's in the show notes. Anyway, thanks again for listening. Catch you on the next episode of the Jiu Jitsu podcast.